Today I have a really quick video on how to swap out your propane tank on your camper when it gets empty. I am taping indoors today because it's really windy out and cold, but I will include videos of every step along the way. I previously did a video that helped you track to know when your propane tank does get empty, so I definitely recommend watching that. I will link to that in the description and offer it as a suggestion. I will also link to it at the end of the video so you can click on it and watch it. The first thing you'll need to do is take off the cover to the propane tanks, but before you do that, check to see if there's anything holding it in place. On my camper, it has a little bungee down here, so you'll definitely want to unhook that before you start pulling on it, otherwise you'll break that bungee cord. When you do pull on it, try to pull as straight up as possible, although you may need to wiggle a little bit if it gets stuck. Once you get it off, then you can remove one of the propane tanks. So I can tell by looking at my regulator that the tank that it's not pointed to is my empty tank. The one that it's pointing to is my main tank. So when the tank became empty, I switched it over, and I know that the one it's not pointing to is now empty. So this is the tank I'm going to take off. Before I can take it off, I need to disconnect it from the camper, but it's always good to check first that it's actually off. So make sure it's all the way tight and off, and then you can disconnect it from the camper. The next thing you need to do is loosen this bracket so that you can actually get the propane tank out. And to do that, you will go counterclockwise to loosen it enough to get enough room around this bracket so it can move so that you can slide the propane tank out. Once you have the tank out, you can go get it refilled, or if you have another one, you can swap it in right away. If you aren't going to put it back in right away, I would tighten this bracket down as much as you can just to make sure that the other tank is still secure. And that would be really important if you're going to move the camper at all with only one tank on it. I would definitely tighten this down and make sure that the other tank is completely secure. Once you are ready to put the refilled tank back on, you'll need to re-loosen this again. So again, you'll go counterclockwise and loosen it enough so that you have enough give in the bracket so that you can get the propane tank back underneath of it. Make sure that you point the connector for the gas towards wherever your hose is. In my case, it's towards the camper, so I want to make sure I put it back in the same position it was before. I also want to make sure that I get the base on the round part here just to make sure that it's in the exact same position as before. Once that's on there, I want to secure it before I hook up the gas, so I'll need to get this bracket back in place. The important thing here is that these teeth connect on each of the propane tanks. So you'll want to make sure that the teeth catch into the top of the propane tank and it stays level as you tighten it down. So to tighten it down, you go clockwise until it's nice and secure. Once that's secure, then you can screw the hose back into the propane tank and make sure that's good and tight. And then the only thing left to do is to put the cover back on. You'll just push it straight back down. Make sure you put it in the same position as it was before. Mine opens with the hinge away from the camper, so I just want to make sure I put it back in the exact same way. And you might need to push this a little bit hard to get it down, but it should go. And then the last thing is, if you did have anything underneath that which kind of kept it in place, like in my case the bungee, you'll want to make sure that you re-secure that. So it is pretty easy to swap out your propane tank when it becomes empty on your camper. I hope this video helped. As always, any suggestions, questions, or video ideas, please leave us a comment. Here is the video I talked about earlier that will help you know when you need to change one of your propane tanks. Happy camping, and thanks for watching.